Did you know Echoplex has a 24-hour stream? That's right. Check out our 24/7 music stream at echoplexmedia.com/live or at eplex.xyz. Our huge self-submitted local music library plays the best tunes the Bay Area has to offer, and commercial free, well, except for ours, and even by request. Check out the player on echoplexmedia.com or at eplex.xyz. Bookmark it and enjoy it all day. Echoplex is very supportive of our local music scene, and we hope you enjoy the soundtrack they've so graciously sent in for us to play on our network. If you like who you hear, please go check them out. The names of the artists are displayed on the player at echoplexmedia.com and at eplex.xyz.
At some point, we are going to have to do a whole show about how good this show sounds.
Hey everybody, welcome to Downballot. We do this show live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/echoplexmedia. Support this project, just head on over to echoplexmedia.com and click the support tab. There are plenty of ways you can do that, or just tell a friend, or maybe even somebody you don't like about this show. I'm producer Dave. And you can find me on your Grinder grid, but take a number.
And this is the Councilman. As always, you can find me on X at @THE_Councilman. If it's still there, I'll check in a minute. You could also find me recording an alternate podcast. I'm doing a Rewatch Bluey podcast. So if any dads are out there interested in a little crossover action, I might interweave some politics into it because, it's a very political show, that Bluey. But anyway, excited to be here and looking forward to jumping into the docket as always, Producer Dave. It's great to see you.
Was that a joke, or are you really doing a Rewatch podcast with somebody?
I'm not. That was a joke. I have thought about it though. If any parents are out there or people out there who do watch television or stream television, the latest binge in our house is Bluey. It's an Australian public access show that has been brought over to America. It's excellent, fantastic for parents and kids alike. There are some there's some missing bits in terms of inclusion, I think, a little bit, but they're working on it. But it's a great show, and I invite everyone to check it out. 7-minute episodes. How can you beat that?
I've thought about doing a Burn Notice rewatch podcast, but that would just annoy people, I think, honestly.
More so than the original show?
Oh, that's a good question. There would be less explosions on our podcast, that's for sure.
We could do Psych. I don't know. I'm inspired because my wife is the good wife is a big fan of Boy Meets World, the old Ben Savage show from the late 90s. And there is a very popular rewatch podcast of it out right now. We are currently binging, and it's actually taken me a little bit by surprise too. I find myself wanting to listen to it. So
is that the one I'm getting a lot of ads for, where it's members of the cast?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't want to necessarily shout out the name, but yeah, it's 3 members of the cast not named Ben Savage. Ben Savage, who apparently is running for Congress. We'll probably get into this at some point on Downballot, running for Congress in Southern California for Adam Schiff's seat. Adam Schiff, who's running for U.S. Senate, right? And he's running against a bevy of other, Democrats. He is ostensibly, I think, a Democrat on the dotted line, but apparently very conservative views. He ran for city council in West Hollywood, although it doesn't take much to be considered conservative in West Hollywood, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true.
But that being said, apparently he is a little bit right of center. So it might be interesting. We'll track that and see if there's any good video we can bring you. Maybe we can do a SoCal visit for Downballot. Because as we always say, all politics is local.
Yep. Well, what do we got for leading off?
Well, we have a sad leading off. This could be another thing, but I figure we'll just lead off with it. And it's not necessarily ballot-y, other than it does relate to the South Bay and something iconic that happened this week. So I guess I had not been aware, but Steve Harwell, the lead singer of Smash Mouth, one of the biggest bands to really ever emerge from San Jose's music scene, for what it's worth, was very ill, apparently with liver failure. And just recently it was announced that he was in hospice, and then literally like 24 hours later, he had passed away. So we're going to hear a little bit of a obit here and just give him a shout out as a friend of San Jose and the music scene.
We do have some sad breaking news from the rock world this morning. A family spokesperson for former Smash Mouth frontman Steve Harwell says he passed away this morning at his home in Idaho. Just this weekend, news broke that he was in hospice care. Harwell struggled with health problems over the last decade and was forced to step away from the band in 2021. Harwell was born in Santa Clara and co-founded Smash Mouth in San Jose in 1994. He was only 56 years old.
That's young.
Yes. Did you ever happen to come across Smash Mouth or Steve Harwell in your travels within the music scene here? Maybe in the same circles, but
no. I mean, like everybody knows like the one song, that All-Star song, but other than that, like no. Like sure. That wasn't really kind of my music scene either. I understand, like it was on the radio constantly, and I mean, I heard it like more than I wanted to, but Yeah.
My band was lucky enough to record in their Smash Mouth studio, I guess, which was happened to be in Campbell, actually on Bascom. I'm sorry, Winchester. So we recorded there once for one stint, or one of our albums, or half of one of our albums. It was a good time. It was great space. There was no one there from the band. Obviously, it was just their studio that they paid for, so we were probably paying them rent. So that's the closest we ever got to the Smash Mouth aura or mystique. But yeah, it's tragic. Hopefully, I don't know. They say liver failure, and that would lend you to believe that he partied a little too hard in his life of fame. And and touring and whatnot, it can get pretty grinding. So take care of yourselves out there. Just a friendly reminder. No matter who you are, whether you're in a band or not, it's good to stick around. It's good to see what comes next.
Well, thank you for not putting that in winners and losers, because that would have been kind of inappropriate.
Yeah, no, definitely no losers or winners really there. But rest in peace, Steve, and to all your friends and family and everyone in the music scene who knew him, our condolences. Sort of a local love shout out.
What do we got in winners and losers?
Well, so many things. So there is an update on this story, but we'll run it. Apparently there are some vandals at play in the East Bay at an iconic East Bay spot, hiking spot, and we're going to find out more about what happened from NBC Bay Area.
Well, an iconic piece of functional artwork that draws thousands of people to an East Bay hiking trail, Summit Weekly, has been vandalized. It is leaving Labor Day hikers with a lot of questions about who did it and whether it will be repaired. NBC Bay Area's Tom Jensen has more on the damage to the Mission Peaker pole at the top of Mission Peak.
After a 3-mile hike to the top of Mission Peak, this group of friends counts their blessings for a nice day and friendship along the full-day journey.
It's good for us. It was really fun.
But they're disappointed after reaching the summit and finding the iconic Mission Peaker pole gone. Just a stub at the base is left.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we want to. Yeah.
And then it was broken off.
Yeah.
So it's got 4 faces.
A Fremont marathoner and ultra runner who has been visiting the peak since she was in 4th grade and sharing images of everything from curry parties to Christmas parties on the peak. Also uses the summit trail 2,500 feet above sea level to train.
So I run every day. I'm on my 11th year of running every day.
So when she heard the Mission Peaker pole was vandalized, she had to run to the top to see for herself.
And as I keep climbing, I'm like, okay, there's no stick. And you get up there and it's like, sure enough, it's what I saw.
The main part of the sculpture that contained a time capsule and peeking tubes that directed onlookers to other Bay Area landmarks and cities is completely gone, hacked off at the base.
I've reported it to dispatch yesterday. That I volunteer for the park as well. And I just sent pictures around. No one's really said anything just yet. So I assume it's just because it's a holiday weekend.
A dispatcher with East Bay Parks confirmed the vandalism was reported and is being investigated. Lee says she hopes the sculpture that was erected by artist and park ranger Leonard Page in 1990 will be repaired with the original piece or a replica if the original isn't recovered.
It's such an iconic symbol in the Bay. I've had friends visit from other countries and I'll take them.
From Mission Peak, Tom Jensen, NBC Bay Area News.
I can see stealing money and shit, right? Because you can use money, but that's just like a dick move. Like there's no aftermarket for that thing. Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's true vandalism, right? Like, there's things that are called vandalism, but aren't necessarily right, but they're called that because someone decided that they were going to prosecute these crimes and make examples, right? Make examples of people. I don't know what examples being set here with or what could be set, but this is definitely vandalism, right? When there's just no real intent other than to just be dicks. Or dick move. They should just call it dick move instead of vandalism. You were charged with 1 count of dick move. Anyway, but I'm not familiar with Mission. I haven't been up Mission Peak. Have you climbed to Mission Peak before?
Yeah, I grew up here in Fremont. So.
Oh well, there you go then. That makes sense. But yeah, I believe the good wife grew up nearby as well too. She's familiar with it. I am not as familiar with this icon, but she was offended herself when we were watching this story the other night. So. The good news is I've heard through the grapevine. Maybe we'll have a follow-up story on Downballot next week, but and maybe drop something into the Twitter space or the X space. Watch out for my feed. But yeah, I've heard that apparently they have recovered at least a portion of the pole, and it will be reinstalled, replenished very soon. So hopefully a good end to the story. But for now, it's stuck in the loser category because these fuckers are losers.
Yeah. I don't necessarily recall that thing being there. I mean, it's not that it probably wasn't one of the times I went up there. I just don't remember it being like a reason to climb really for me, but maybe other people, like, I don't know. I don't remember what year they said it was installed. I think they said 1990, if that's right.
Yeah.
So
all I know is that young lady who works for the park, apparently, park system as well, too, maybe on a pro bono basis, I don't know. But she seemed to be very excited about it and was missing it. And so were the other.
They must have had like some kind of battery powered saw and a lot of like extra batteries to like take that thing.
Yeah, it's cut off at the base, right? This isn't a simple situation where there was a screw that could be loosened, right? So yeah, definitely. I'm sure there was some damage to the thing itself. And yeah, exactly like you said, the thing has no value on the market, right? As far as dollars and cents go, it's really just it's sentimental value, but beyond that, kind of like individual sentimentality, like a wedding ring or something. This is like a community heirloom, right? Yeah. Boo on them. This would equate to me to be like someone going along. You've been to Paris before? I don't know if you've been or Europe.
Not as an adult.
But along bridges, or at least a couple bridges in Paris. I don't know if this is a thing in Europe, but lovers will leave locks, like literal locks, right? Locked to the grill or the rail of the bridge, right, to signify their love. This would be equivalent to someone just going along and just plucking all those off, right? And just taking them. Right. Like there's no point to that at all.
No longer useful as a lock.
Correct.
Not really an interesting souvenir.
Exactly. And they're all dolled up too. Like they paint them. It's really it's quite striking when you see a bridge like covered with them. You're like, oh, it's so sweet. I wish I had someone I could put a lock there for. Anyway, but yeah. So assholes, return the damn pole. Thank you. That's our PSA.
So in a bit of crossover with our show, How the Tech Are You? Our next story is about tech billionaires want to build a new city up in Solano County. We've been covering this for the last 2 weeks, actually, on the show that me and Matt and HK do.
Oh, fabulous! Yeah, this is suburban or exurban planning to the max.
Yeah, and the artwork, we were discussing how the artwork looks a little bit like a cross between like a Norman Rockwell painting and the cover of the Atlas Shrugged novel. So
especially the workers, right? Like this is going to produce good union jobs, right? It's not just not just renderings designed to sell people to like come and live in this place. You'll see it's
Mark Andreessen, known supporter of unions,
right? big time. He marches picket lines all the time. But yeah, you'll see that the imagery is designed not just to sell potential residents or businesses on this completely fabricated community, but also selling politicians, elected officials, commissions that have to approve all the permits to actually build the thing. So anyway, here's more.
California Forever has released renderings of the land it has purchased in rural Solano County.
California Forever also sounds a little dystopian, but let's go.
The group is promising to build a city unto itself, but as KTVU's Tom Vakar explains, most of these plans cannot happen without approval from voters and county and state leaders.
On its California Forever website, the developers say this is a chance for a new community. Good paying local jobs, solar farms, and open space. A chance is not a guarantee, nor are the good paying jobs. And the area is already almost nothing but open space, which would be partially covered by solar arrays. Though the California Forever website shows many attractive and alluring colorful drawings, they're just that.
Although not very many colorful people.
Drawings. The plan appears to call
a minor concern
or cities with tens of thousands of homes located well within earshot of Travis Air Force Base, a busy 24/7 home to the military's biggest cargo.
Well, that's convenient for when we have to invade Libertopia. At least there's an Air Force base nearby.
Drop the bomb very quickly.
Local political reaction here in Rio Vista, but City Hall is closed on Fridays and for the entire holiday weekend.
Bummer.
That's the nature of small towns.
Oh, as this starts to move on, the public comment after Downballot is going to be pretty fucking interesting.
It's going to be lit. It's going to be fucking lit. It's its own show almost.
Destroy the wonderful lifestyle we have here and add to an already existing traffic problem in the surrounding area.
Highway 12 between Fairfield and Rio Vista. This is the traffic today. Imagine it with thousands of new homes.
Oh, don't worry, they'll install public transit. Oh, wait, these people hate public transit.
Well, at the very least, they'll add 2 or 3 more lanes to the roads, right?
They'll promise to do a Hyperloop.
Highway 12, the main drag between Rio Vista and Fairfield, runs directly through the 50,000 plus acres development. It would be wholly inadequate with 2 lanes and would seriously affect the 2-lane Rio Vista Bridge, the 2-lane Highway 160, and the 2-lane Antioch Bridge that goes into Antioch and the East Bay.
Luckily, the people that are going to live there aren't going to be allowed to leave, so don't worry about it.
By the way, hold on really quick. That like freeze frame of the bridge made it look like people were driving up into heaven. Like, like there's no, you can't see where the end of this is. It's just like, let's just go. Here we go. Space.
Antioch Bridge that goes into Antioch and the East Bay.
Does it really? Oh, there it is.
Valley billionaires, tech executives, and venture capitalists want
fly fishing
$1 billion for the lands alone.
Yes. Yes, money talks. Money talks, and they have deep, deep, deep pockets.
They'll need it to put in the vast infrastructure needed for such a project in such a rural area, most especially roads and transit. Certain other infrastructure beyond roads, parks and services such as hospitals and better shopping could benefit the area, but at a price.
Well, a lot of people do work in the Bay Area. I worked in the Bay Area before I retired, and if you see the traffic out there today, because they're working on the bridge, you can't even get out of Rio Vista right now.
The whole area would not be a small community anymore. It would be a thriving metropolis.
Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
So I wonder if they would let the people who live there already leave, or if they would just
or live there if they chose to, right? I mean, I guess she probably chose her words a little poorly, but you know, I guess the hope would be it would be a thriving metropolis, right? I guess that would be the best case scenario is that it's thriving, not like dragging everything else down or sucking up the world. Yeah, this is just so sus, completely sus. Once you find out who's behind it, too, right? It's almost not. I guess it wouldn't matter necessarily if any group called California Forever.
But it's definitely a who's who of who can go fuck themselves. Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Even Peter Thiel connections, I think. But regardless of who's behind it, if any shadow group is buying up 52,000 acres of land in the Central Valley and talking about building a planned community and releasing all these wonderful, really whitewashed photos or renderings with wonderfully whitewashed people and wonderfully whitewashed workers and wonderfully whitewashed lives, that look, oddly enough, I don't know. Again, I'm going to make a reference here, but I'm guessing you're not a follower of the Walking Dead by any chance?
No, but like I said, okay. I've seen the cover of Atlas Shrugged.
Well, that's exactly what this feels like. There's every community they seem to find, the survivors seem to find, where they've managed to put up some walls and like try to create some world that kind of resembles what happened before the zombies came and the world went to shit. Right? It looks exactly like these renderings, exactly like completely fake. One-dimensional, about an inch deep, right? A mile wide and an inch deep, and just ready to fall apart at any moment with like the stiffest breeze could blow everything over, right? And so easily just corrupted and just full of just full of shit, right? So I'm sure you've talked about it ad nauseum in the other space, and that makes perfect sense. So we're going to keep following this here and there, I'm sure, and bring you more.
It might. I mean, there's a non-zero chance it ends up on the Cult and Satanic Panic show too. If it gets too far down the road, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if Jordan Peterson ends up putting in money on this, then we really got something, or the Church of Scientology, right?
That's what I'm saying. The first people that show up there are like Scientology and fucking Bethel.
Tom Cruise will move there. He'll get a palatial estate on a hill there. But yeah, again, but also this is between Rio Vista and Vacaville or wherever, on the I-80 corridor. Everyone's been out there. It's not as though that space out there is not developing already at a rapid rate, right? Like you can see it all the time as more and more people flee the Bay Area, the heart of the Bay Area because of cost of living, and they've tried to find places that are cheaper to live and then commute into the Bay Area on things like, Amtrak and BART and other things, which are out there. But yeah, you're right. These assholes aren't going to be, aren't going to be forced to contribute to or build out But they might have to like build again, like I said, a couple more lanes on the bridges or something, or build a new bridge. But they won't be asked to build public transit.
So fun fact: some of them, their parent company or whatever, is already like filing lawsuits against local landowners for trying to charge too much for the land.
That's fucking hilarious, right? And that's hilarious given the like $1 billion, like they quote $1 billion for 52,000 acres in California. Do the math. That's a bargain. That's a fucking bargain, especially for these a-holes. $1 billion is like, burning a hole in their pocket, right? Like that's collectively, all these assholes worth well over billions and billions of dollars, right? Like who knows, maybe $1 trillion between them all. And they're not crying about $1 billion and $1 billion to get the land, which is the most, expensive piece of this whole puzzle and the hardest piece to get, right? You can buy politicians, you can buy commissioners, you can get the entitlements that you need and you want. Costs a little bit, but it doesn't cost anywhere near as much as the land.
Do you remember when they wanted to seastead?
Was that what? When
they wanted to seastead?
Who's stead?
Seastead.
What's seastead?
SEASTEAD. It's like homestead, but seasteading.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yes, I do recall that entirely. Like
the Ruffies wrote a song about that, actually.
That's why I remember it. I think the Ruffies are very good for that. They're very good for helping to remember these kind of moments. But yeah, I remember there's like Waterworld, right, where it's like these little atolls or whatever. Or little
they wanted
islands,
to be just outside of. They want to be just into international waters,
right?
But like right outside the Bay Area, so that they could essentially like
live here but not live here.
So they could install a feudalism, I think is what they were trying to do. But then people could commute to their Bay Area jobs and bring their feudalism money back to Peter Thiel to pay tithing or whatever they were going to do there.
Well, they should make those fuckers go through customs. I don't care. Every day. That's very similar to what's happening here. And we'll see, again, it all comes back to who can afford to live there, who's going to be living there, who's going to be doing all this labor and work that needs to be done to sustain this kind of an environment, right? And where are they going to be living? Maybe more likely, probably not in this community, right? So same problems. You're just building an artificial city and creating brand new problems instead of, I don't know, trying to solve the ones we have now.
Yeah.
With your $1 billion. I
thought it was funny that they said, "Oh, they're going to have to build public transit." It's like, no, they're not.
Fuck no. I mean, no. I mean, they'll be held to. They're going to have to do something, right? Like to appease and make it a smoother process. They'll do something. They'll offer to, like I said, it'd mostly be roads probably because people are so fucking concerned about roads. Even the folks who are like worried about all the traffic and the congestion and all that, they're not going to be the ones in there lobbying for public transit. They're just going to be saying like, no, don't bring this at all, right? Like I don't want any more cars on my roads.
Yeah, don't do. Don't do this at all. That's
what they'll be saying because of our roads can't sustain it, right? So they'll probably have to appease those people and build bigger roads, I'm guessing, but they won't be they won't have to like help fund BART or help fund a new extension of Amtrak or whatever, the Capitol Corridor, which is a fabulous ride, by the way, if you've never been on it. So anyway, we will obviously be tracking this one and following up massively,
possibly at least 3 of our shows at this point. Yes, we'll be following this.
Perhaps we could do a crossover once it really peaks out. We could do a crossover of some sort. I mean,
how the down ballot are you?
Yeah, how the down ballot is your satanic panic.
Anyway, what do we got next?
Well, this is going to be a little bit fresh for me because I've only skimmed this story, but apparently, I mean, we're all well aware that San Francisco has come under the gun for a lot of public malfeasance and, moving money through nonprofits to help themselves and pad their own pockets. So a lot of city officials have been forced to resign. There's even, I think, a city official who's going to jail over this, or at least going to be doing some serious, hard community service and fines. But there apparently are more charges being filed all the time. So we're going to learn more about the unraveling mystery here on NBC Bay Area.
Tonight, we investigate new public corruption charges against current and former San Francisco city officials. Dwayne Jones faces more than 24 criminal charges of misappropriating public funds, bribery, and conflict of interest. Former San Francisco official was the subject of an NBC Bay Area investigation back in 2020 that showed his business netted millions of dollars by helping other companies bid on lucrative contracts in the city. The current head of the city's community challenge grant program, Lenita Enriquez, is charged with the same crime for allegedly signing off on more than $1.4 million in city contracts to Jones Company and other entities tied to Jones. District Attorney Brooke Jenkins said her office filed charges because that grunt money was supposed to help residents and, quote, not to line the pockets of government officials.
Well, good, I suppose.
Yeah, it's good to see that Brooke Jenkins is cracking down, on everyone. She is tough on crimes. D.A. Jenkins.
We covered that contemporaneously, right?
Correct. Mostly related to Mohammed Nouri, who was the head of Public Works, who resigned in massive disgrace because he had been siphoning money from city coffers through a nonprofit that he controlled. He resigned, and he is now, I believe, in jail. Or at least he was in jail and is now out and probably having to do, like I said, the hard community service stuff. So, that we'll be covering it quite a bit. I'm sure we've had it under Get Your Shit Together as well. But there was something that was more appropriate tonight. So, for now, we'll just keep you posted as San Francisco continues to fall apart at the seams, right, from the inside out.
Yeah, and funny enough, I didn't hear that any homeless folks or drug connoisseurs were involved in any of this.
No, not at all, right? And then it seems like the city is functioning just fine, So it's interesting. I've been in a number of conversations this week, offline, as they say, not on podcasts or on vidcasts or on any sort of streams.
Off air.
Off air. There you go. Off-air conversations where folks who are educated primarily by local news, right, and what they hear and word of mouth, and more than once, maybe 3 times actually this past week alone, heard people reference, the dangers of San Francisco, right? Like we had a couple moments before a Zoom meeting started, and one of the participants lives in San Francisco, right? And one of someone from the South Bay said, how are you doing up there in San Francisco? You feel safe? And the person said, well, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it's fine. but the narrative outside of San Francisco is like it's just falling apart and it's a shithole, right? Because that's all we hear. Right. But it just reminds me of what happens when you exclusively watch the local news to get your news, right? Like we watch it here, we run clips because that's what we have to riff off of, but we're not in any way, I would say, getting our news from these outlets, right? We're finding out what's happening, and then we're trying to piece together through this show and others, what's really happening and what's going on beneath the surface. So if you're getting it from these sources, it's completely understandable why you would think these kind of things, right? It's a lot like scrolling through Nextdoor. It really is. Like, try that sometime. It will, for me, it's amusing. Like I've learned to love it and to just laugh, right? And to read posts and just crack up and read the comments and just sit there and have a nice amusing moment of levity in my day, right? Which is consumed with, babies crying and needing food and sustenance. And, oh, by the way, we need to teach them things too, so they're not idiots. But it's a great breakup in my day. But it also is just like the worst of humanity. So beware. But it's a lot like reading that is what folks are. That's really where folks are getting their news, and it's tragic. It really is tragic because that's the narrative. That's the simplistic kind of narrative you hear about San Francisco or about anything else, really, like that you see out there. Yep.
And we're going to stay in San Francisco for the next 2 stories. Actually, this next one is people are upset about potential schools closing in San Francisco, and I will probably say much like the same thing I said last week after we run this clip.
Let's run it.
Boiling over at the San Francisco Unified School District tonight over just even the possibility of school closures. The district is facing a major budget deficit and dwindling enrollment with no easy options in its path. NBC Bay Area's Terry McSweeney has more.
You should have done it at the beginning.
You're disrespecting
These are
us.
citizens.
We are not going to have a discussion about this right now.
The first public speaker tonight was the Reverend Amos Brown, who interrupted the meeting to demand public comment at the beginning of the meeting, not the end. But board members spoke first, acknowledging a mountain of problems.
Whether we're talking about our SPED students, our African American students, our Latinx students, our Pacific Islander students, we are not meeting their needs and we are regularly failing them. We haven't owned up to what's not working. And it's hard to look in the mirror sometimes, but our kids' education depends on it.
San Francisco Unified is facing a $39 million current school year shortfall, declining enrollment, and teacher turnover due partially to insufficient pay. Now comes a proposal to close some schools, and that's where some parents draw a line in the sand.
And it's sad because we're supposed to be fixing the schools and not trying to get rid of them. When your first principal says money will follow the students and where enrollment is, that does not in any way signal to me as a parent that you are caring about equity or caring about our Black and brown students.
I'm gonna tell y'all the scariest thing about what I heard tonight, right, is I heard very little about the actual education, right?
No decision on closing schools at tonight's meeting, but board members say at some point they're going to have to address the financial problems. Another example, if the district were to bring all of its schools up to good condition, that would cost $6 billion. In San Francisco, Terry McSweeney, NBC Bay Area News.
So, actually, I ain't even that mad. I'm going to be straight up. I ain't even that mad. You know why?
Why?
Because they're actually bringing up the possibility of closing the schools before they have to close the schools. So, I know the people at the meeting are mad and shit, but this is better than some of the stuff we've seen out of Oakland, where they basically over the summer proposed closing down schools for the next term, which whether or not they had to close the schools or whatever, you can see why everybody be fucking, even if your kid's school wasn't being closed, you might go there and just be pissed off just because you're like, why didn't you tell me about this before?
Right. Well, in those cases, they waited until the very last minute to bring the bad news. More than likely, either because they didn't want to deal with the backlash for a prolonged period of time and the back and forth, and maybe some trying to find some sort of community solution, right? They want to have the hard conversation, or they thought with rose-colored glasses on, oh, this is going to resolve itself, right? We'll suddenly find a fucking pot of money under the fucking bed, and we'll be able to save the schools, right? Or that we can get a teacher's agreement to move some things around and some vacant positions, and we'll save the schools.
But I mean, if you're in that position, why not just say that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you.
You know how the president gets up on the stage every year and goes, "The State of the Union is strong," or whatever.
Strong,
right? Well, have a state of the school district, but instead of doing that level with people, you go, "The state of the school district is."
Fucked.
But here's
fucked, and it's not entirely our fault, but it's partly our fault.
Then you say, here's what's going on. Here's sort of what we're thinking is, what we're looking at in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, if things don't change. And if y'all have some ideas, and we'd love to have a conversation about this between the students, the faculty, any stakeholders, but they don't do that. It sounds like San Francisco, to some extent, is doing some version of that, which is better.
Yes and no. I mean, every district has a budget advisory committee. Every district has a English learners advisory committee. Every district has a disability advisory committee, right? And ostensibly, parents and teachers and administrators are all sitting in these, and students, hopefully, are having a voice in these committees and and through these committees. And then the board, of course, is supposed to be speaking up for the people in the community, and raising those voices. And it's just not in reality, unfortunately, how it happens, right? These committees all meet. They have members. There are people. There are parents and teachers and well-meaning administrators who do meet and try to resolve these issues collectively. But whenever something like school closure comes up, or whatever, critical race theory, or whatever you want, right? Like banning books, or a school shooting, it brings out all the parents who didn't know they had a beef or had a beef all along and just never really got engaged, right? Those aren't the people that join committees and join groups, advisory groups, right? Like the people that join advisory groups, the people that genuinely want to help and think things are going okay, but have some ideas about how to make things better. Instead, what you see here, what you rile up when you talk about closing schools is the greater parent populace, right? And we've heard this before in San Francisco, and we covered it extensively on Downballot / Recall Watch, right? When there was that massive recall effort against the school district here. So now they got what they wanted. Like the people who forced the recall and said, you guys don't know what you're doing. Now they've got a majority of board members on there, right? Like the people that were talking right there, those are people that were, I'm pretty sure replaced the folks that were ousted in the recall. And they're suddenly realizing that, oh shit, running a school district is a lot more fucking complicated than, putting out a mailer or putting up a 30-second YouTube ad, right? Like this is actually really complicated shit. And we do kind of have our hands tied. And it's, so now it's funny, like they're saying, well, we're doing our best, but we're not doing a great job. It's like, yeah. So why couldn't you just give the last people a chance to do not a great job until the election, right? And figure it out then. So they're getting a taste of their own medicine, and to me, it sucks for the kids, right? At the end of the day, it sucks for the kids, but for me, it's a little bit kind of like a silver lining that these assholes have to now deal with. Oh, we have to fucking govern this school district now. It wasn't just fun and games. Sorry for blathering so long, but it really pisses me off to hear these folks.
If I'm just telling you, like I said before, the more lead time you have for this, and the earlier the kids know that they might have to change schools or whatever, the easier it is going to be the kids to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's like that's like what I care about in all this.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a wholly separate for me from the irony of the recall and the recall's success. Again, it all comes back to the kids to me. One thing that every school district is missing, right? They have student board members, right? Like a couple of kids that sit up with the board of trustees and give reports from, career day or whatever, right? Like they don't actually have a vote. They don't have a vote. They have no say. They're just sort of there. No one really engages them in the conversation when they're talking about issues that relate directly to them, right? And there's no student committees. There's no student commissions within these school districts. There's no student-led bodies. There's a student leadership group that, like an administrator goes to just to sort of say hi and say, hey kids, I know you exist, but they have no say or power or voice. That's the real tragedy in all of education, is that the students are the ones that should have a voice. Even the youngest students, I think, could tell you exactly what they need to, feel comfortable and welcome and educate, and learning, right? Like they're learning how to make them thrive in a learning environment. We need to engage our kids more, is all I'm saying. And we don't do that. And that's the real tragedy in all of this.
Well, as important as the schools are in San Francisco, you know what's more important? Pickleball. We'll just let the local news hit run, and then we'll see. We probably have some thoughts here.
Debates about where and when to play. KTV's Allie Rasmus is in San Francisco, where the dispute over one pickleball court went viral because of an online petition. Allie?
Yeah, we are at the Presidio, and behind us is the Presidio Wall Playground pickleball courts. They've been open since 7 o'clock this morning, and they're pretty full. It's been a hub of activity here since it opened. You can see and hear this activity. In fact, the noise is what some people who live nearby are upset about.
The noise is awful. It's just nerve-breaking. It just echo all over. Bang, bang, bang to your head.
Now, it is a more distinct and staccato noise than what tennis balls and rackets makes. The San Francisco Chronicle recently reported that a woman who lives nearby this court in the Presidio, who also happens to be the wife of a tech executive and investor, recently circulated an online petition calling on the city to shut down this pickleball court until the city can do an environmental review. She claims
they got 91 signatures.
Environmental impact of pickleball. Okay, let's keep watching. Sorry.
And that the noise is affecting home values, the environment, and residents' way of life. But she's also getting a lot of backlash online and on social media after it was discovered that she has her own pickleball court in the backyard of her $36 million mansion. Pickleball community said it was hypocritical of her to try and shut down these public courts while keeping her own. People who live nearby and are outside of this fray wonder why everyone involved can't find a compromise.
Look at how many people are out there playing. I mean, that's amazing. I can understand the noise factor. That's legitimate. But let's just try to work on innovation. We're so good at that here, right?
Her suggestion, do something to muffle the sound of the pickleball paddles. Now, there's supposedly certain types of balls and paddle covers that can be used to reduce that pocking noise, but then you get into the question of whether that kind of regulation can even be enforced when you have crowds like this at pickleball courts. Now, last check, the Change.org petition that the neighbor had circulated was taken down, but the debate about this continues. We have reached out to San Francisco's Rec and Park District to get more information from them and hear their response to this dispute. Live in San Francisco, Allie Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Allie, thank you. There's another pickleball court controversy down in the South Bay.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's actually, we'll have that on the next down ballot, by the way. the pickleball controversies are spreading everywhere. All right. Have you ever played pickleball, Producer Dave?
No, but now, I mean,
it kind of looks like squash and tennis combined, maybe like a little bit, or racquetball and tennis combined. But good on everyone for playing and getting out and getting active. And yeah, like they said, this is pretty freaking hilarious. I mean, it would be pretty petty and silly to be having to seeing people respond this way with like online petitions calling for environmental review of pickleball courts. It would be pretty silly regardless and very down ballot-y regardless. But on top of that, the fact that the woman circulating the petition has a $36 million mansion and a pickleball court in her backyard just makes you want to just laugh maniacally in her face.
The government should eminent domain her pickleball court.
Absolutely, right? We need more affordable housing. Let's build a fucking ADU up in that mix, right?
No, I say they just make that a public pickleball court and a 24-hour public pickleball court with instead of things to muffle the pickleball, maybe we find ways to amplify,
make it louder. Like stiffer balls or something.
Microphones on the wireless microphones on the pickleball on the rackets.
Oh yeah, and a PA system aimed into the neighborhoods.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. Oh, and then some obviously lights. We need some lights, and they need to be aimed into people's backyards and not at all at the pickleball court. Right. That's a must. This is great. And conveniently enough, if you look at a map, there's like a handy map on one of the stories. This young woman's pickleball court is entirely adjacent to the main road, across from which is this pickleball, paradise. So they could have like a little bridge or an underground, tunnel or some sort of conveyance to get people over there, and they could create an easement. Yeah. Oh, there you go, people mover, and there would need to be something accessible, obviously, for all of our friends.
We could use the boring company.
Yeah, exactly, for our folks in the ADA community, and it would be perfectly accessible. And I think it would be a win-win for all involved if we just eminent domained it. Absolutely, it is right there. We could create an easement even if she was not amenable to eminent domain, and we didn't really want to press the issue. We could try to create an easement, which would mean a little door, basically, to let people in. So there's many solutions here, and I think that we can find something creative. So Helen, call us down ballot right here, 555 down ballot. I forgot what our number used to be, but it was I used to have it memorized.
Still out there. It's 415-903-PLEX. And if you left a voicemail there, I would never hear
it. So call us, Helen, and leave a voicemail so we will never hear it.
So we got another vehicle versus structure this week. And just by the still here, I think the structure won this one.
Yeah, we'll have to find out more about what happened here, but this is becoming more and more common.
A nonprofit in the city of Oakland facing tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meeback.
And I'm Julie Hayner. A stolen SUV full of juveniles came plowing through their art center yesterday. Several artists were inside at the time. KTVU's Amber Lee joins us now live in Oakland. And Amber, staff members tell you they are frustrated.
Yes, they say they're upset, but they're resilient. They've cleaned up the mess and they're waiting for repairs to be done. They plan to reopen as soon as possible. A gray SUV speeds through an intersection in uptown Oakland, followed by the sound of a crash. Several people are seen running away. The SUV crashed into the Creative Growth Arts Center on 24th Street Tuesday afternoon about 3:40.
It was just really horrifying, honestly. I thought it was like a bomb or something.
The staff at the nonprofit tells me just 10 minutes earlier, a group of artists were painting near the window where the SUV plowed through.
If this bar wasn't here and we were having class, the artists that sat here on Tuesdays would have been probably dead.
The staff says it's a miracle no one was injured. Witnesses saw 5 juveniles estimated to be ages 10 to 14 get out of the SUV and run away.
I was terrified because I didn't know. The car was running, there was smoke, all the gas was coming out.
The staff says the owner of the SUV told them he had reported it stolen 2 weeks ago in Berkeley and that he found evidence inside the damaged vehicle that indicates the thieves may attend a school in Oakland. Workers also say a police officer told them this appears to be part of what's called the Kia Boys Challenge, where young people steal this type of vehicle to joyride and post on social media. Police have not confirmed this to us. The center's executive director estimates the damage to be $25,000. The nonprofit relies on state funds, grants, donations, and the sales of artwork.
In the last 8 months, we've had 3 broken windows because of vandalism. So it's just an ongoing problem.
The staff tells me all the artists at the center live with disabilities and that the suspects stole from a vulnerable community.
They took a sense of safety away from them. They took a safe space for them to be able to go to.
Workers are demanding that city leaders take action.
Step up and do what needs to get done. Excuses aren't going to work anymore. The city is falling apart.
The Arts Center was closed today. Staff plans to welcome the artists back Thursday and reopen the gallery to the public Friday. Julie?
Amber Lee reporting live tonight in Oakland. Amber, thank you.
So the thing about the challenge, I think, might be bullshit, but there is information floating around online that it is very trivially easy to steal most automobiles made by the Kia car company.
Interesting. I was not aware of that, but not surprising. And again, I feel for the nonprofit here. I'm especially because it's an arts nonprofit, it's a special place in my heart. But at the same time, to suddenly at the end of the story to have the folks go nuclear basically and say this is part of the city just falling apart, right? No, I mean, this is a really shitty thing that happened to you, and I'm sorry that it happened to you, and it sucks, and it's good that no one got hurt, especially your friends and the studio artists, and also the teenagers who were dumb enough to do the shit in the first place, right? But that's really the story, right? Is that you heard that it sounded like a cartoon crash, right? Like that you're here in the movies, right? Like that sounded really bad, and looks like all the kids got out okay. And at the end of the day, there's some damages that I'm sure a GoFundMe page can help to resolve. If this place is really that well known and well loved, they shouldn't have any problem raising the money to fix this. So good all around, right? And good on the architect for building those poles in so that it did look like. I mean, I think you're right. I don't know if we want to grade it, but seeing as no one got hurt, it did look like the structure won at the end of the day because it prevented the car from getting into the structure, right, where it would have done more damage.
And that's good.
Out. Yes. So good on the structure. So I'd say structure wins in this round.
I mean, in vehicle versus structure, there are very few cases in which I'm not going to be just kind of by default rooting for the structure.
Yeah, of course, because at the end of the day, I mean, vehicles aren't meant to drive into structures, so they're probably the ones being bad. Structures can't do anything but just be there. They're built and they just sit there. They can't get out of the way. They can't drive themselves across town, right? So vehicles always have the option, and they consistently decide to attack these poor, defenseless, motionless structures.
I mean, this structure seemed very well fortified, not defenseless.
Save our structures. Save our structures. So we will speak up, Producer Dave. We will be the voice for the structures.
So we got get your shit together, and it's San Francisco, and this is literally about shit. I think that's all we got to say. We're going to let the news hit run here.
A number of San Francisco residents have been blanketed with a pretty bad odor in their neighborhood. KTVU's Christian Captain joins us live tonight from San Francisco's Public Utilities Commission. And Christian, I mean, you're learning that this smell could actually be around into next year?
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And I'll tell you something, that smell, the PUC is saying it might be the scent of progress. Now, it might not be a pleasant smell, but they're also saying it's certainly not a dangerous one.
You can't see it, but there's something lingering in the air in the area near San Francisco's Panhandle.
It just kind of smells like burning rubber, sort of. Yeah, it's not great. You can smell it from pretty far away.
The smell comes and goes and has even created whole discussion threads on Nextdoor as neighbors try to figure out
this is probably wild.
A major clue is the work underway along Oak Street as crews replace an aging sewer line.
What people are smelling is a specific type of project called cured in place pipe. It's an innovative but industry standard practice that we use to upgrade our sewer infrastructure.
The smell is the new pipe.
We put a specialized resin in and through the pipes that then hardens or cures and essentially creates an entirely new pipe within it.
The traditional alternative would require digging a trench down Oak Street, one of the city's busiest commute corridors. So the SFPUC says while the smell may be unpleasant, it's better than the alternative, and they say it's safe.
During the course of the work, we'd have real-time continuous monitoring of the levels in the air, and we're finding that during the course of this project, they are 100 times lower than state safety standards.
Neighbors say while they may not love it, they understand.
No, I don't love the smell, and sometimes it feels a little bit inconvenient, but I really do appreciate that the city is investing in infrastructure improvements.
Now, the project is moving along the Panhandle and in the city's Sunset District. The work typically takes a couple of days before moving on to the next segment, so residents won't have to put up with the smell for too long. The sewer replacement project is set to run into spring of next year. We're live in San Francisco. Christian Captain, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Got to roll with it. All right, Christian, thank you.
So I was incorrect. I saw sewer replacement and I'm like, uh-oh, there's shit everywhere. And I was incorrect. The shit is only in front of the cupcake shop, and that's on the sidewalk.
Correct. Well, they're still dealing with shit, and they're just, kind of covering up the shit is really what's happening. And that's the disgusting part of this whole thing, right? Like, it's not a sewer replacement at all, right? They're not actually digging up, as they said. They were very clear. They're not digging up the pipes and replacing them with new pipes. They're shooting some sort of weird concoction, hardening resin concoction into the pipes to coat them, right? And create a sheer new, clean pipe inside.
No, I mean, I know what this is. What's going on is
gross.
The thing they're spraying inside actually creates a new pipe. So the old pipe over X number of years is just going to fall apart around the new pipe.
Interesting. That's pretty innovative. Well, good. Well, at least that's something. I wish the neighbors understood that and could appreciate that. But you know what? To be honest with you, the smell of burning rubber doesn't sound so bad as opposed to just the smell of burning shit.
Right. Like if the pipe failed, because that's a main sewage pipe if they're doing this, right? Because they can't do this on small pipes. These are big pipes. So if that pipe failed, it would smell a lot worse.
Yeah, if they're talking about Panhandle to Sunset, that's a very long, that's probably a main line of some sort, right? Running along the park there. So, well, get your shit together, San Francisco. Make sure that, those sewer lines are replenished and repaired. And yeah, there's probably in San Francisco, some sewer lines that are more than 100 years old, at least. At least dating back to the earthquake, right?
All right.
The original earthquake.
Let's move on to Down Ballot Watch with stories that are more explicitly political. All the news is political, but these are like explicitly stories about local politics. We just got 2, and it's been a long, hot labor summer. Which is interesting. Let's see what the Fox affiliate has to say about it.
Labor Day, elected officials and union workers gathered in the South Bay today to mark months of strikes across the state and outline the goals that they say still need to be accomplished. KTVU's Amanda Quintana has the story.
It's been called hot labor summer, strikes happening all over the state. From Hollywood writers to nurses and teachers, with the rising costs in California, workers are fighting for a living wage and benefits like retirement, affordable health care, and housing.
This has really been a summer of solidarity, but also it's sending a signal around the country that we are about unionizing California. That's what we're doing.
Dozens of state and local leaders showed their support at a union barbecue in San Jose. Proud of the strides made, but knowing more needs to be done.
Workers need more to be able to live in the ever more expensive California. And there's a lot of levers we can pull at the government level to help address these issues. Lifting up workers, giving them more economic power is one, but also building more housing, making housing more affordable.
They say unions are more popular than ever right now.
90% of young people support union activity. That is the future of California.
And seeing workers stand up and demand a better life has inspired others to do the same. Employees at places like Amazon and Starbucks helping lead the way by unionizing.
I'm seeing a lot of LGBTQ people realize that's my best place to be. If I want to be treated properly, if I want to get the health care as a trans woman, my union's the only reason I got my health care and that I got to transition.
Electrician Lasaria Kursabi says she was transitioning secretly, scared of what her fellow union workers would say. She even had thoughts of taking her own life, but she was welcomed by the union with open arms. Now she wants others to feel that same support.
When you have a workspace that not only supports you but protects you, you work better.
Leaders want to continue this momentum.
Starting with making sure that unemployment compensation is played to our striking working men and women. This is like Social Security. It's an earned benefit. You pay into it. You deserve it.
Securing unemployment for those striking and aiming their next fight at AI.
Ensuring that we're not settling for robots driving our trucks and cars, that we're asking the actual people do that.
In San Jose, Amanda Quintana, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Probably a cracking barbecue.
It was. I can report from first-hand experience.
Oh, you popped by?
The Bad Baby and Good Wife and I dropped in. We're friends of the House of Labor, so we went and we snuck in. But, yeah, it was cracking. They had chicken, burgers, sausages, hot dogs, all manner of cookies and muffins and treats and salad.
Just curious, any entertainment?
They did, actually. I thank you for asking. They had a really kicking jazz duo, a couple old scraggly white dudes, one on a acoustic guitar and the other on sax, maybe a tenor sax. But yeah, actually very nice. They were playing some old ragtimey shit and some good classic union tunes, right? And had some guest singers come up for a couple bits. So yeah, no, they were very, very good. At first I thought it was recorded or a DJ was playing, but then I got up closer to the stage and there were actual musicians.
That's always a compliment when you think something was pre-recorded and then you find out it's live, actually.
Yeah, it was very smooth. They were very nice. It was also just well mixed too, for being like just some, basically backyard barbecue.
Oh, you know what? I bet they had someone from the union for that deals with audio video there, making sure it sounded good.
IATSE was probably in the house, the Technical Workers Union.
So we watch some of these events by some of these like kind of far right groups, and the audio is just always garbage. And somebody in chat always says, "Oh, this is what happens when you don't hire union people for your AV."
Right. We're fed up with union workers and all their demands. Can you hear me, Poughkeepsie? Anyway, yeah. So it was a cracking good time, and yeah, it's been I think a really big year and a good time for the labor movement writ large. You're seeing organizing in places, that haven't been really tapped before. Private industry, even just Starbucks employees is a big step, right? Like you haven't seen a whole lot of private sector union organizing in a long time. So this is good to see. And then striking my writers and my actors from Hollywood, good to see them fighting for what's theirs. And a lot of other unions stepping up to defend, to be in solidarity with them, like Teamsters, right? Like, imagine that, truck drivers walking alongside actors, right? So it's good to see, and hopefully it will lead to better things for all working people and good barbecue.
Well, we got one more story in the down ballot watch, and it seems like Mayor Ed 209 thinks TikTok is going to help them stop the sideshows in San Jose. So let's hear about this.
Sideshow activity is front and center in San Jose. Events have only increased in the past year. After 232 in 2022, there are already 184 reported incidents in 2023. These illegal sideshows have terrorized neighbors and created problems for the community.
Every weekend we have sideshows and it's hurting our community.
Se han robado los carros.
Cars are being broken into, windows are being broken, and families are not feeling safe.
Sideshows are dangerous. They're dangerous to the participants. They're dangerous to the spectators, to the community.
SJPD uses different techniques to curtail activity, including citing spectators and participants. But Mayor Matt Mahan believes fault falls on social media companies as well, and he has sent a letter asking them to play a part in finding solutions.
We would not stand for people posting videos of themselves physically assaulting people. So
wait, what? Yes, we do.
Posting videos of people engaging in other dangerous and illegal activity that has literally been involved in events where people have died.
Mahan wants sideshow videos removed quickly to help limit numbers of people attending the events. He'd also like to see accounts suspended for 30 days for the first offense and banned permanently if the content continues. Social media expert Ahmed Benafa says a change like this is absolutely possible, and he says these companies have an obligation to promote public safety.
This could be a model for other activities that they look at it as an illegal activities. They can just apply the same model to the other activities when they ask the tech companies to take action.
We reached out to the social media companies, and while we haven't heard back, the mayor said his office has received positive responses. So we asked him why he believes his plea will make a difference.
If people didn't get the likes and the followers and all of the attention on social media, I think we would see far less sideshow activity. People are doing it for the attention, and the social media platforms have a responsibility for cutting off that attention.
The mayor hopes the companies will come to City Hall next month to work out a solution that works for everyone.
See, that's where he's wrong. Like I'm sorry, but that he's wrong. There is an attention factor to it, right? There's a YOLO, influencer, social media attention grabbing factor, but that's true of just about everything that young people are doing these days, right? They're all trying to figure out a way to spread social media love and spread their reach, right, and become influencers or whatever even in their own little small universe. But that's not why these folks are doing this shit, right? Not for the gram. The gram is just a side hustle or the side project of it. It's really just,
let's say a side show.
Yeah, side show. They're just having, from their perspective, having fun, right? This to them is fun. This is something entertaining to go do or watch on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Just like going to the movies or having dinner and going to the movies is someone else's jam, right? This is their jam, right? And you're not going to stop their jam just because their video gets taken down. They're going to find another way to get their video out. But really, it's the experience itself. It's being there, right? That's really the more critical thing, right?
Right.
And we're obviously failing in letting these, in trying to inform and educate these folks that what they're doing is unsafe, right? And it can lead to serious problems, right? But at the end, there's so many things that we try to educate people about and young people about and tell them not to do. And yet, oh my God, they do them anyway. Fucking shocking, right? And they do them even, more so. They do more of it. They do it to an even greater degree. Because we tell them it's bad and it's wrong and they shouldn't do it, right? And it's the big bad man telling them, that something's wrong and they shouldn't do it. So of course they're going to fucking do it. So I'm not saying I have a solution for how we can stop sideshows, because I think I personally think they're stupid and dangerous, but there's nothing. I don't know if there's anything we can do as a society or as a police force even to stop it.
I do.
I'm off myself. Go for it.
When they shut down all the drag strips in the Bay Area, people turned to street racing. There was still street racing when there were drag strips, but there was an alternative where you could go, and there was some regulation. Regulation was, lax compared to like an NHRA event, or nobody would be able to participate. And I don't know where to put this, but we could make a legal version of this.
The fairgrounds. I mean, there's so many things for which the answer is the fairgrounds.
Yeah, we could.
This is one of them.
I mean, it's you're driving your car in an uncontrolled manner, sure, but we could make this legal, do this legally,
sure,
and greatly reduce the danger to maybe to the participants, but more to the observers. But the thing I think is the danger is part of the thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, a great idea. And it could be regulated to still be dangerous, right? These things will always be dangerous, but there can be some sort of control to it, and give people the opportunity to have that experience, right? Especially the spectator, right? There's not so many people that actually participate, right? And frankly, I'm surprised that more people don't. I guess maybe it's a tribute to the driving acumen or the sideshow acumen of the drivers, right? That more people aren't hurt. Like maybe it's the organizers for organizing a good sideshow. I don't know. It seems to me that more people would
some
get
combination,
hurt at these
yeah.
things, right?
I mean,
yeah, like
you don't like if you're organizing this, you don't want people to die at it, right? Like so, there's
not.
just like raves, like illegal warehouse parties are illegal. But the people throwing the party don't want the reputation of their parties being grossly unsafe. And I think that's going on here, and it keeps people safe. It's self-regulating. There's people who've been going to these for 20 or 30 years who are maybe doing crowd control. It's still dangerous. Yeah. I would not go, and I'm not suggesting anyone else attend one of these, but there's certainly some amount of self-regulation going on in this community. Otherwise, yeah, you'd hear about people getting like seriously injured or killed a lot more often.
Yeah, it's surprising we don't, right? So maybe that's a testament to them. So, and who knows? But the one thing I do know is that shutting down the videos on TikTok and, shutting down the gram is not going to solve anything, right? And it's really just a cop-out by city leaders who, just want to look tough on crimes, but don't actually want to do anything to, dig in and resolve deeper seated issues about the fact that people feel the need to let loose doing this kind of shit, like this kind of batshit crazy stuff, right? Like that's a bigger, deeper societal issue that no one wants to deal with. They just want to issue citations, right, and fines, and
like get these people into drifting, like
right, or something else, just anything else, right? Or low riding, as we're going to see.
Yep.
in another thing, right?
Oh, so this is great. I wish I could have attended this. I just couldn't make it happen because it would have been so fun to go out there after a very long time of basically cruising being illegal in San Jose. San Jose had its first lowrider day in quite a long time, and I bet this is going to make me even more mad that I didn't attend watching this news hit.
Of San Jose recognizing lowriders and the culture and history behind them today. Hundreds of them lining up around City Hall for the first ever lowrider day. But cruising wasn't always welcomed in the city, and our Len Ramirez was at today's celebration to tell us why it's such a long time in the making.
30 or 40 years ago, it would have been hard to imagine the city allowing a lowrider happening out here on the streets, let alone on the steps of City Hall. But lowriders have certainly cruised into the future, a future that now includes acceptance.
We're here, we fought to be here, we're here to stay, and we're going to continue fighting for our culture.
Armando Barbosa has been cruising in San Jose for over 25 years, much of it through difficult times.
There was a time period in our lives when getting in your car and going down to our favorite spot would be King and Story. It wasn't tolerated with the city of San Jose. You would get targeted because maybe your car was just too low or maybe it looked just a little bit different than the rest. and it was outlawed at that time.
San Jose was one of the places that gave birth to the lowrider culture, which is now spread worldwide. But the city cracked down in the 1980s and cruising was banned. Barbosa and members of the United Lowrider Council of San Jose have been working with city leaders for more than a decade to get the ban lifted. Last year, they did just that. And today, San Jose Lowrider Day was a celebration of that victory. More than 300 cars packed the City Hall Plaza, and Santa Clara Street was closed off for a lowrider car show.
We can now park, as you can see, in front of City Hall. We are welcomed. Nobody's getting pulled over. Nobody's getting a ticket, not just yet. And we're here to celebrate Goodrich community and let folks know that we can do this in a positive way.
Even San Jose's mayor got into the action.
Oh, God.
Lowrider culture is an important part of our city, of our tradition, of our culture, and we're going to continue to embrace it and celebrate it.
It means a lot to people like Mia Arroyo, a hairdresser who spends her time and money fixing up her Chevy Impala.
Before it was a little bit different, and they had us a little bit kind of like segregated, like, oh no, you guys can't do that. You guys they would profile us to be something that we weren't. So we're just happy to be accepted, like part of the community.
Part of the community with color, style, and history.
We're definitely here. We fought to get here. We're still fighting to stay. And we're definitely going to fight for the future. We're just preserving a culture for our kids that's going to come behind us.
Thank you, Len, for getting that story for us today. San Jose Lowrider Day won't be the only place to see some great vehicles over Labor Day weekend. The Santos Car Show will take place tomorrow on North 1st Street from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. Get this, they're expecting more than 600 vehicles to be on display. I bet.
So the only difference really between lowrider culture and hot rod culture was the people driving the fucking cars and what their fucking complexion looked like.
Yes, 100%.
Nobody ever fucked with you if you're driving your hot rod down the street, but you were driving your lowrider down the street.
Yeah, it was actually very poignant last year when the ban was lifted, the cruising ban was lifted. Council member Raul Perales, who led the effort, he actually was a member of a lowrider club when he was younger. He had an Impala, I think himself, a 65 Impala, and he recounted very poignantly being pulled over many times and curbed and searched and stopped because of his complexion, right? Because he's Chicano, it was common. It's entirely common. That's why they created the law in the first place, and it's great that it's lifted. And yeah, I'm looking forward to more of this. I'm looking forward to more, like we've talked about, more just open streets days and opportunities
Let's try to go to the next one. I think it's probably.
Let's do it.
You could bring the bad baby. Bad baby might get a little annoyed after a while because the bad baby doesn't understand the lowrider culture. But
no, she'll dig it. She'll dig it. She'll dig the hydraulics and everything.
We go out there and get some of them hot dogs on them carts because them hot dog vendors are out there and that shit's real good.
Oh, for sure. And the food trucks and whatnot. She's actually got pretty good taste buds going on. So she's trying all sorts of things. But yeah, let's go do that. And the Santos Car Show. How could I forget that up in Alviso every year? It's a massive thing. So car culture coming back.
Yeah, I don't even have a car, but car culture is pretty cool, especially them old cars because just time marches on and just the attrition of the environment and stuff. We're not going to be able to see these kind of cars forever. They're going to get more and more rare, and less regular people are going to be able to even buy the base car to do this, with, because they're just going to get more and more expensive.
Yeah, and just the style and the craftsmanship is going to go out the window over time anyway. But yeah, I'm sure they can electrify all these rock cars, but some
I bet
part
some
of
them are.
I
bet there was somebody out there whose car was electrified. I bet there was.
Yeah, and with the lowrider culture, it's not as big as the hot rod or maybe not the hot rod, but the other types where it's about the revving engine and that big vibration, underneath your guts. It's really just about going low and slow. So it makes
the lowrider. It's all about the fashion, baby.
Yeah, it's low and slow, and the hydraulics can all be hydraulics. They're not electric or gas. So yeah, let's embrace this. Speaking of embracing, people embracing at the stud again.
Yeah, the stud's opening back up, which is great. Again, it's all about the fashion, baby. It's all about. They did famous drag events at the stud, Anyway,
Oh,
let's
there you go.
check out the local news hit, and then I have a bit of announcement afterward.
Nearly 4 years after the legendary LGBTQ bar called The Stud closed there on 9th Street, the owners have announced it will reopen early next year. It's an old favorite that's getting a new beginning. KTV's Alice Wirtz reports now from San Francisco.
For 57 years, San Francisco's famed LGBTQ bar, The Stud, has welcomed everyone. Now there's a vision for it to come back in a new location in the center of the city's leather and LGBTQ cultural district. The Stud on 9th Street closed back in 2020 during the pandemic, now owned by a collective of 15 former employees and supporters looking to reopen the club. Historically an institution for the community, drag performances, karaoke, and even political events over the years have been held here. Stephen Best and his partner used to attend events at the Stud.
I went to a furries party at the Stud accidentally.
I might have been DJing at that. If it was a frolic event, I could have been the DJ or one of the DJs.
I was most sad about the old Studs sort of disappearing was that like the kind of landscape of places to go in the city was that much smaller.
A goal of raising $500,000 is underway for renovating the space that's been a pop-up theme lounge over the years. The two adjacent buildings here at 7th and Folsom Street will create a larger venue.
I still think like gay people need places to meet, to see that there are other gay people.
Folks we spoke to in the Castro were excited to hear about the plan to reopen the Stud, a venue that always welcomed everyone.
The Stud was a really good environment, such a great atmosphere. Everyone is women, even my straight friends, everyone enjoyed going there, and it was a really good atmosphere.
Since the pandemic, with so many places closing, Gilliam says it's a great sign of recovery for the city and the community.
I love it. It's just fun for people to go out. As you know, like a lot of people want to go out again, and that's where, it's like celebrate like life and just go and do something fun.
She says the Stud has always been historic and inclusive.
They welcome everyone. Yeah, and they don't just say, okay, specifically this. No, everyone. And I feel like more and more people feel comfortable just going, even if there's going to be other people that are there, whether it be men, women, whatever. It's just nice to feel safe, where the people who are working there are making you feel safe.
Community leaders and city leaders are excited about the possible reopening of the Stud right here on Folsom Street, the heart of the city's LGBTQ and leather community. In San Francisco, Alice Wirtz, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Yep, that's fantastic. And everybody kind of keep your ears to the ground. DJ Star Noir and another queer DJ whose name I forget. We're doing a big Raid Train event on Twitch coming soon. It looks like it's actually going to be sponsored or endorsed by the group that is putting the Stud back together. So they'll be helping us market it. It'll probably be at least 12 hours, possibly all weekend long, and we'll be raising money. I'm trying to raise money for the Stud. I will certainly be DJing, but also we'll be doing we're trying to do some more interesting things than just DJs. If we can set it up, we maybe want to have some of the people involved in it jump on like group calls to kind of talk about what their plans are. Maybe if we can even get some live video from inside of the venue piped through as we take a look at it. We have big plans, probably a month out, and we're really looking forward to that. I like working with Star on things, and we're looking for if you're from the area and you're an entertainer of any kind or you're a streamer, as long as you're like, we can't just throw an episode of Downballot in the middle of it. Although maybe we could if we did a Downballot where we kind of talked about the Stud, but
totally.
But we're gonna Star and I are gonna kind of spearhead it. And first we thought like a DJ event, but then like the more I thought about it, the more I thought that like because of the Stud and what it represents, it isn't just a music venue, and that we should probably try to incorporate more things that the Stud has represented for the city of San Francisco, the Bay Area, and to some extent like the queer community across the nation the entire time that it's been around. So kind of keep your ear to the ground, and if any of you have any ideas or can help out with the event, either hit me or Star up, whoever you're more comfortable speaking with. And seems like it's going to be a great event for us, and I really hope we like make some kind of impact on that. I know they're asking for $500,000, so I don't think we're going to raise that entire $500,000. But what if we got 10% of that shit for them? Like,
we can try.
And with enough time to promote it, and with the people working on the venue like on board, or at least providing lip service saying that they're like endorsing our event, I think we'll be able to get a pretty big audience, and hopefully maybe even bring some new people to Twitch, which would be great. And that's the other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out to Twitch too and see if I can get them. See if I can get them to sponsor the event. And they're going to be like, your channel is crazy. Don't email us anymore.
Please stop contacting us. Here are some more books. Please stop writing letters.
Yeah, we'll see, and maybe not tonight, but sometime soon, maybe during a Catterday or whatever. If people want to like spend some more time talking about it in chat, I'd be open to that. Maybe we'll have Star on for a Catterday and see if we can get any other organizers together. Maybe do a bit of a panel and have like maybe have the planning be a little more open, so that people kind of see what we're up to and like what our ideas are and whatnot. But it's nice to end on. It's nice to end on two good stories, one from San Jose and one from San Francisco. It's pretty off-brand for us, but like, sometimes you just got to shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be happy, I suppose.
Yep. Well, you feel like reading the show out?
All righty. Well, thanks everyone, as always, for joining us. We're back on our normal past, used to be day, Tuesday. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. Stay tuned for public comment, as always, with producer Dave with the red light on. And we encourage you to get vaxxed, to wear a mask, but if you don't want to wear pants, that's entirely up to you. Up next is Audible Smoke for your eardrums, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Time to get the party started. Pick up my phone just to check and see who's calling. Dress up real nice for the ladies at the bar, and I'm driving in my car just to get to where they are. Here at the local scene is where I plant my feet. It's where I smoke my cigarette and I hold my drink. I look at all my friends, they're all blazing greens. Here at the front of the stage, waiting for MTV. Where are those guys who's standing next to me with a pipe in his hand, ready to blaze for me? About 5 minutes later, we're all singing Queen. I get the fuck up on stage and rock the scene. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. I turn and head back to the bar for a refill, man, because you know where we are. We're headed out to the car to smoke another one and another one. Now just when the magic starts kicking in, I hear relapse playing, it's time to head in. Alright everybody, now it's time to grab a new drink. Spark it if you got it and then pass it to me. Yeah, we do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. We do what we want to do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy that band. Last up on the bill for the show tonight is Down and Dirty at 5, so we're headed outside to spark up another joint. Now who's got my lighter? Stoner E, of course, shouldn't you be inside? I'm all up in this bitch, being who I gotta be. I'm fucked up like the U.S. economy. The truth is that I don't think logically. Stoner E take you on a psychedelic odyssey. Now inside motherfuckers is rockin' me, and outside shit we smoke a lot of broccoli. Rocky the roller, yo, that sexy girl be jockin' me. Ain't too drunk to fuck, but I'll probably do it sloppily. We do what we want, what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Enjoy the band, enjoy the band. We do what we want, what we wanna do, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. All they say, they hear like jamming, and they hope it like what we want, what we wanna do, what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band, enjoy that band. We do what we want, and what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just sit back and enjoy the band. So sit back, just sit back and enjoy the band. We just do what we want and enjoy what we want is to jam. So sit back and enjoy the band.
Every Saturday is Catterday on Echoplex Media, and not only are we posting fucking cats, we invite all content creators to join our open panel. Visit echoplexmedia.com/panel to learn how to join. Every third Saturday is Operation Catterday, where we cover this week and last year and play the best clips from the cast of conspiracy characters that Now Space has learned to loathe. The show starts at 8 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/echoplexmedia. Find our full schedule at echoplexmedia.com.